Let's begin with polling station elections of the New Patriotic Party that have been fraught with misunderstandings and disturbances in some constituencies in the Ashanti region. Some aggrieved members have accused constituency leaders of skewing the election processes in favor of their preferred candidates. This, they say, will cause disaffection towards the party in the next general election. Nana Ojima has been speaking with some aggrieved party supporters in some of the NPP strongholds and have filed this report.
The New Patriotic Party scheduled the election of polling station executives and electoral area coordinators for February 19 to March 5th, 2022, under the supervision of committees whose membership are specified. At Ejuso, aggrieved members of the party, clad in red, protested the election held on February 26th. They accused the party's leadership of failing to properly constitute the election committee and to communicate a date for the election. Acting First Vice Chairman speaks for 12 of the constituency executives and other aggrieved party supporters.
It was not only shocking, but unbelievable when at exactly 7:22 a.m., the acting chairman was heard on Kesbin FM saying elections had been conducted in the constituency. According to him, the exercise began at 7 a.m. and ended by 7:22. That is unbelievable. At the time he was talking to the radio station, it was over in all the 205 polling stations across the constituency. So it took them 22 minutes to conduct elections at all 205 polling stations within the constituency.
In the 2020 presidential election, the New Patriotic Party garnered 68,724 votes against the NDC's 14,488 votes in the Joso. Mr. Chumesin team is worried the numbers will reduce for the NPP in the next election if emerging issues are not resolved.
We appeal to the leadership of this party to nullify whatever was done or in the name of elections within this constituency so that things can be done afresh, hearts can calm down, and then we can move on as a constituency. We want to save this party.
Known as Florida, the Bantama constituency is one of the sure bets for the NPP in every election, making 86.18% of votes in the area. Prince York aspires to be a polling station organizer at Bushen electoral area. Prior to the polling station election, he claims to have been attacked by some thugs in relation to the election.
The thugs knocked angrily on the door of the office when the officers were preparing for the elections the next morning. We inquired why they are making so much noise. They then attacked us, hitting me with a plastic chair.
It is alleged the same suspected thugs also disrupted the elections. Nana Boache is an aspiring constituency youth organizer.
So how the papers that were supposed to be used, the forms that are supposed to be used in the elections are no more. And therefore we need to make another form, some form for other people so that we can start the whole process again. Where are the forms? Forms where that is what I'm saying. These forms were stolen. So the tax stole the forms, sent the forms away, and we are preparing other ones to do.
Meanwhile, another group has emerged claiming the NPP leadership in the constituency is manipulating the election in favor of their preferred candidates. Spokesperson Ebo Boyson has refuted claims this group disrupted the election with thugs. He is calling for nullification of results declared so far in the Bantama constituency.
Because what is happening in Bantama here, if K is not taken, I repeat, if K is not taken, Bantama will be a Bantam area. Thank you. So we are drawing the attention of our leaders that they should come to the aid of Bantama because they want to cheat Bantama. And if Bantama falls, the NPP will fall. Yeah. I repeat, because NPP in Bantama is the heart of the party. And if the heart ceases to function, that means the party will soon die.
In the Ofoekrom constituency, a group is also kicking against a decision to retain all old executives. In a press statement, the concerned youth of Ofoekrom kicked against electoral area coordinators appointing polling station executives for newly created polling stations instead of an open contest. Similar incidents of imposition and discrepancies have been recorded in the Adanse Asuka constituency, as some persons are denied forms to contest the polls. In all the agitations, party members fear it could lead to disaffection towards the party, depriving them of the agenda to break the age. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Back here in the studio in Accra, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. We've been joined right now by Director of Elections for the NPP, Evans Nemakon, for more. I'm grateful for your time, sir. The last time we spoke, you promised to deal with some of these challenges at the polling stations. Now we're hearing of Bantama, and you had our reporter talk about some of the other areas in the Ashanti region that these things have happened. Are you not worried as a Director of Elections?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Aisha. I think that the party leadership has sent to the party rank and file specific directives to be complied by the elections committee, as well as prospective members who seek to become executive at that level. It is expected that the rules and regulations as given will be complied as such. Yes, this election is taking place in almost all the 30,000 plus polling stations. It is expected that there will be some turbulence, and I can assure you that for all those places that leadership has been informed of such misunderstanding, efforts have been made to bring the parties together to appreciate where we are. Some of the issues coming up, as your reporter mentioned, the case of Ejuso Antma, are before leadership. We are expecting the elections committee to submit official reports, and then the next. I want to use this platform to caution all those who have been given the mandate by National Council that we strictly want compliance of all the directives given. We expect that they will not use the opportunity.
Evans Nemakon is Director of Elections at the NPP. Do we have him back on the line? So he's been addressing challenges that is being faced at some polling stations in the Ashanti region. The NPP internal elections, we're told that there's been pockets of violence at some polling stations. So Evans Nemakon, who is Director of Elections, has been explaining that some of the issues that happened in some areas are being dealt with by the executives. And this is the latest one that is coming before him. Mr. Nemakon, are you back?
Yes, if you can hear me.
Right, loud and clear.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we expect the committee members to strictly comply with the directive given. We also expect all prospective aspirants to use internal arrangement to seek redress. We indicated that where you feel aggrieved, you have the party's internal arrangement to seek redress. We are urging members to desist from using such platforms that are unwarranted to seek their issues redressed. You mentioned a Joseph constituency. As we speak, I did receive petition from a Joseph constituency. General Secretary has been informed duly, and action is being taken. And so I don't really appreciate it when party members on issues like not get forms or being disqualified at the vetting stage will resort to press conferences. I don't think that's the way to go. We've been engaging all those who are not happy with the way that some of the committees have managed and engaged them to ensure that we resolve all rough edges. So the party office is still open, and it's expected that by tomorrow, where some teething areas are still existing, we will provide the necessary support arrangement to get them resolved.
I'm grateful for your time. Evans Nemako, he's Director of Elections at the NPP. Let's move on to La, because 2 years after the thought was cut for commencement of work on the La General Hospital, the site has been abandoned. Residents of La and its environs are upset that the government has not prioritized the project. The facility, which was serving those in the catchment area, was brought down because it was in a dilapidated condition. But 2 years after, the edifice has been converted into a park, leading to agitations among residents. Here's a report put together by Manuel Cranting a year ago.
Hospital. Let me at the outset thank the hard work.
President Akufo-Addo speaking at a ceremony on August 10, 2020, to cut sword for the reconstruction of the La General Hospital. This was after the old 5-story facility was torn down in March same year for, among other things, lacking structural integrity. The new building was to be completed in 24 months. A year on, the land has been overtaken by weeds with no contractor on site. The facility, which was formerly known as the La Polyclinic, had for years served communities in and around La, Osu, Teshi and Nungwa. Since it was pulled down, residents here have grappled with the reality of traveling to other facilities to access healthcare. Sarah Okutu has lived in La all her life.
Before they were going to demolish it, they came to call those around this community. They asked us whether when they demolish it, it will be okay for us, because we want a new hospital. So we agreed. But now they came to demolish the thing, and they even said they are coming to start. Up to now, no foundation, nothing. They even put up a signboard that the president said, and people are saying, thank you, Mr. President, for rehabilitation our hospital. But still up to now, no foundation.
Just a few meters from the site, there's a raging conversation about the delay of the project. These are pensioners who used to frequent the facility.
The impact is great, because now, if we are sick, you go here, just walking distance, you go to the polyclinic. Now, either you have to take her to go to Kolebu, police hospital, 37, or private hospital, or Lekma. And that one, you have to pay transport. You pick her. If it's serious, you pick dropping. Your money will go. That's the most serious impact on our lives over here.
There's a lady here. Baba, nika ebiene pete ni arashle no. She because of nas akalaya to come traffic ni your mami. Pi. Konye pi bi ana abugbe. Negbo. Nika biene no na wole ke business na akalete polyclinic. If I survive,
they swear the Bible. What is the reason of swearing the Bible? Then they lie. They lie. Me all the time telling God that God is merciful. God is a merciful God. Other than that, one day, all of us will go, and you created a different generation.
Do you think government lied to you?
Speaking during a tour of the site by the Minority Caucus on the Health Committee, a resident, Reverend Ajay, described as devilish the move to demolish and abandon the project.
Not demolished, but destroyed.
What do you mean by destroyed, sir?
It was destroyed by the government. Yes. And it's affecting the people of these areas. La, Teshin, Nungwa, and Osu.
How's it affecting you people?
We are crowded in a small area inside Labadi called Latenu radio station area. And when you go there, the deplorable state in which the places and the pain and agony people are passing through to access health care is terrible. But people are happy with it.
I see. I mean, you are within this area. Have you?
I'm a native of La.
You're a native of La. That's fine. But then, have you been able to contact the government? Have you spoken to the health ministry? Have you spoken to your MP? What's been happening to this facility?
Do you know? I don't know what is happening, but I've done some assessment and I realized that areas where this government have no, let me say, MP, they don't take things serious there. Yes. Since La is in the hands of NDC, there's no way they will come and do this thing here.
So you think that it's a total neglect from the government?
Total neglect is political, highly political.
But the government is now procuring. I mean, you know, the economy it's on its wobbling legs, and they're now procuring funds.
Now
so,
who caused it? Who caused the economy to be on its knees? Who caused it? Some time ago, somebody was ruling, and the whole of Ghana was shouting incompetence, incompetence. Now it is in local parlance, we say emotional. We have given it to you. Like praying draft, we have put it on your laps. Now pray the draft, and you have caused this mess. A whole hospital, look at the land.
So was it prudent for government to have demolished this?
Devilish and demonic.
Devilish and demonic?
Devilish and demonic.
MP for the Dade Kotopon area also joined the residents to call on government to put up the project. Meanwhile, ranking member of the Health Committee, Kwabena Mintah Kando, is accusing government of misapplying the funds meant for the project.
I've been following this project almost everywhere, including myself. And the processes through which any facility such as this will commence is that all feasibility studies must be done before even the agreement is submitted to Parliament. So, after Parliament approve the agreement before sword cutting. So once you cut the sword, it means that the contractor is ready to commence the redevelopment of the project. All this while, anytime you engage the minister until his vetting, he will tell you, work is ongoing, work is ongoing. And in fact, as you all heard, when he was being vetted, he said, it was nearing completion. You understand? And so, I don't know, they have absolutely no excuse because this structure was put down in the midst of COVID 2020 and we are in 2022. It's about 68 million pounds, 68 million euros for the reconstruction of General Hospital. And you see, it serves the Nungwa, part of Nungwa, part of Teshi, in fact, Teshi in its entirety, the Osu, and then La itself. So it's at a very strategic position, and we are talking about the capital of Ghana. So, I don't know, the president must walk the talk. If a whole president walks here to cut the sword, and this is what we see 2 years down the lane, we do not know what to believe from the president. So we are calling on the president, because I think it has gone beyond the minister. And the minister has proven to the country, the whole Ghana, that he is incompetent. The minister, as for the minister, the least talk about him, the better.
Yeah.
Because he has proven to the whole country that he's incompetent. So it has gone beyond the minister now. The president, Mr. President, the very facility you cast saw 2 years ago is still a park. And the people of La deserve better than this. A facility which cost about 68 million euros, and you have only one trip of sand on the site. You have only one trip of gravels on the site. What at all shows that the contractor is even serious and is about from all indications, work is not going to commence any moment now. From all indications. Even the field is weedy. You have seen it for yourself. It's weedy. And so we must be serious as a country.
Away from La Lawyers for the Fix the Country movement convener, Oliver Bakavomo has filed an application for bail at the Tema High Court. This comes days after the Supreme Court struck out a case filed by the lawyers and questioned why they were not taking a more pragmatic step of seeking bail. The youth activist was arrested at the Kotoka International Airport on February 11 and has since been slapped with a charge of treason felony by state prosecutors at the Ashaman District Court. His lawyers made a request for bail, but the court ruled it lacked the mandate under the law to grant such a request. Circuit Court Judge Eleanor Boche, who is hearing the case as an additional district magistrate, urged the legal team to make an application for bail at the High Court. Joseph Akable has been following this for us. He joins me in the studio. We know they had made 3 different requests but had been denied. What next?
And so first, the request was done at the district court where, as you indicated, the magistrate informed them that she did not have the power as a district court judge to grant bail. And so she remanded him and urged them to file an application at the High Court. They did go to the High Court, but they made an application for habeas corpus asking that he's produced before the court because they believe that his detention was unlawful. And so that also was denied, and the court told them that they should make an application for bail at the High Court. They took the step of filing a motion at the Supreme Court, urging the Supreme Court to set aside the decision of the Tema High Court, declining their request for the habeas corpus or asking that he be produced before that particular court. And so that was also dealt with at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court took the view that the more pragmatic approach should be an application for bail at the High Court. Now, we have a statement this morning from the Fix the Country group, and the statement indicates that all the court sessions that have come up so far has left them with only one option, which is that the courts hold the view that the provisions of Article 14.3b of the Constitution does not matter. It says in all these sessions, however, the courts have told Oliver one and only one thing, which is contrary to Article 14.3b of the Constitution, that he rather should take his detainers to the court, which has jurisdiction to ensure his right to personal liberty. By that, it is now well established that the constitutional duty of the police to bring persons they have arrested to a court of competent jurisdiction no longer exists. That duty is now on the individual to perform. Accordingly, Oliver has agreed to perform that duty. He has signed affidavit in support of an application for bail at the High Court. The application has since been filed and will be heard on Thursday, March 10, 2022, at the Tema High Court.
Well, we'll be monitoring that for you, our viewers, but let's take a while longer on legal matters because Elembele MP Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa is said to have been charged for careless and inconsiderate driving. The police say he was part of 5 drivers who drove in the middle of the road and towards oncoming cars. This is contained in a statement signed by the Accra Region Police Public Affairs. My colleague Joseph Akable has more on that also. What does the statement say, Joseph?
And so the 4 other drivers, one is Ahia Doglo, God knows, who was driving a Toyota Land Cruiser vehicle. Arthur Asafweje Edu, also driving a Toyota Land Cruiser vehicle. And Abdul Badango was also driving a Hyundai Sonata. And Intiegu George, who was driving a Sion taxi cab. And the Honorable MP for Elembele, Mr. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, who was driving a Toyota Land Cruiser. The registration number is provided. We are told that the first 4 suspects were duly processed for court today. However, the MP, after his driver's license was taken and he was sent to the police station to be processed for court, failed to cooperate with the police and drove away, leaving his license behind. The airport police command later contacted him in the night on the telephone and asked him to report at the station today to be processed for court. We are told that this morning he reported at the station and has been duly processed for court.
Which court
we do not know.
About?
We do not know at this stage.
All right, Akable, thank you so much for the updates. You have the court correspondent, Akable, who's been bringing us updates on 2 issues, Bakavomo and Elembele MP, who has been arraigned before court. Let's move on to other stories on Joy News today. Many traffic lights in Accra are not functioning. That's a danger to road users. Persons who work or live close to the traffic light say they witnessed many accidents due to this. In the following report, Efua Prekua Boafo looks at the situation at Nima Junction, where the police manually control traffic and are frustrated as a result.
A recent survey by the National Road Safety Authority reveals nearly half of the traffic lights in the Greater Accra region are not functioning. Nima Junction, one of the busiest intersections located near President Akufo-Addo's residence, has had its traffic lights malfunctioning since the last 4 months. Just a few days ago, a motorcyclist nearly collided with a passenger vehicle at this intersection. Lydia Toby, a food vendor here, explains how her business has been impacted by the accidents there.
From 6 p.m., all traffic lights turn red, making it difficult for us to cross. It's the responsibility of the police to direct vehicles whenever the traffic stops functioning, but it's not so. They only show up when there's an accident which affects my business, because no one prefers crossing over to make purchase.
Affecting me, Papa, because I'm no obi ntimi ntwa mu mma se oba beta aduane pose obi ote osrete sika o ko twa kwan ma kwaje aduane wanana police for soldiers for no mo to mo ma na aduane o pan wawu yakosie no.
Lydia is not the only one affected. Motorists and pedestrians are equally worried about the situation.
This traffic light there, it have caused many accidents here. Many, not one, not too many accidents. People are dying here. It affects me more because I'm a rider. It can happen to my friends, it can happen to me.
Authorities should fix these traffic lights because it is closer to the president's house. Vehicles can collide at any time.
Authorities are not willing to fix it. What else can we do? But we are hoping that it's fixed.
You just need to be careful when using the intersection. There's no need to rush.
Frankly speaking, the traffic light is not working, and I don't know what the government is doing about it. It affects my movement because actually I don't know if I should cross or not.
Every evening, anytime we come around, the light has been always off, and there are so many casualties that happen on this road.
I don't think we have a traffic light in Ghana because all the traffics are not working. Akufo-Addo's Junction, the Nima Junction, the traffic light is not working.
A senior MTTD official at the Nima police station, Inspector Zakaria Isad, said they've been left frustrated after several reports to the Urban Roads Department have failed to yield results. He explains the malfunctioning lights is due to the faulty battery cells.
Ghana is today hosting a launch reception for delegates at the ongoing Global Standards Symposium. The symposium provides a high-level forum for coordination among International Telecommunication Union ITU members and non-members. This year's GSS 20 is under the theme International Standards to Enable Digital Transformation and Achieve the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs. The Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Esla Osu-Ikofol, is representing Ghana, and the forum now joins us live from Geneva with Mom. I'm grateful for you, Honorable Esla. So first of all, briefly tell us why our participation in the World Telecom Standardization Assembly is relevant. Kindly unmute for me. Hello. Kindly unmute for me.
Yes, it's unmuted now.
Right, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. It's absolutely essential that Ghana and Africa has a seat at the table at events of this nature, where standards are being set to guide the operations of telecommunications for today and beyond. We don't always have to be consumers of other people's intellectual property and thinking, but we also have something to contribute. And that is why we were here, and we delivered a keynote speech at which we indicated Africa's preparedness and readiness to be an equal partner in the development of standards, in the implementation of standards, and called for cooperation and collaboration between all the global standard setting agencies, the ISO, IEE, and the ITU when it comes to setting of telecommunications standards. We also spoke about some of the initiatives that are currently being taken in the country and on the continent, particularly post-pandemic, about strides Africa is making and the steps, contributions we have also made to development in this sector. When it comes to opening up of various countries for travel, I think the Pan-Bias and Trusted Travel platform that Africa CDC set up was akin to any that the West had developed, and that was developed by Ghanaians locally for the rest of the world, which is currently, and I think there are currently about 7 million people being hosted on that platform daily as they travel around the world. So it is absolutely critical that we let the world know that in the area of telecommunications, Africa has a lot to contribute. And we're going to do so, yes.
Let me ask you this. Government says it is aggressively pursuing a digital transformation agenda. What is the role of standardization in this process?
We can't do this in a haphazard manner. And so we need to do it to the best global standards, best practices across the world. We need to also be part of those who are developing those standards. So when it comes to cutting-edge technologies around the world, Ghana is right there, from our national ID through the property address system, through mobile money interoperability. Many of the initiatives that we've taken have local application, but global implications as well. And they are right up there with the rest of what the world has to offer. Pan-Bias is one. We're implementing the Caravan project, which is setting up an e-logistics chain, and all the many other initiatives that we've undertaken. We're talking about connectivity today in another meeting, and our rural telephony project is being touted as one of the best use cases around the world for others to emulate. So when it comes to standard setting, we're also part of those at the cutting edge of it. And we shouldn't knock ourselves too much. We do have a lot to contribute on the global stage. We need to appreciate the strides that we're taking locally as well.
But okay, so it's heartwarming that Ghana has a seat at the ITU Council. What does this mean for us? And what are we doing to actually maintain our place there?
We just launched our campaign for re-election to the ITU Council. And listening to the Secretary General's remarks, they appreciate the contributions that we've made. The World Telecoms Policy Forum was chaired by me, and they all appreciate the fact that we did a great job in building consensus as we talk about the development of telecommunications policy for the next 4 years and beyond. We're a key player on the global stage when it comes to telecommunications. We'll be meeting in June in Kigali to look at the World Telecommunications Development Forum, where strides being made in artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, cloud computing, the cutting edge initiatives taking place are going to be concretized, and we are going to be there on with a seat at the table to discuss all these initiatives. It's important that our young people know that there's nothing happening in the West that we cannot also do. We only need to put our minds to it and work at it. And if we can showcase role models of people who are actually implementing some of these activities on the global stage, it lets them know that they can also be capable of developing some of these initiatives. So it's important that we have a seat at the table. We're seeking re-election to the council. The ITU sees Ghana as a very valued member of its community, and almost everybody we have met has added their voice to our bid to seek re-election. So
before I let you go, let me gauge your mood on this one. Then this one is back here in Ghana. What's your own assessment of the ongoing SIM re-registration exercise? Will the deadline be extended?
As I've been saying, we're constantly reviewing the process. The queues have reduced, as you all witnesses too. The process is more streamlined now. And it's incumbent on all of us to know that it's a very important exercise, and we take it serious because it is part of the initiative that we're putting in place to improve our cybersecurity architecture around and reduce the cyber fraud that is taking place. So we're reviewing it, and depending on how things go, we'll be making an announcement sooner or later.
I'm grateful for your time. Esle Uso-Ekofo is Minister for Communication and Digitalization, and she's been speaking about that conference and also responding to some questions about the SIM re-registration exercise. Let's take a break on Joy News today and bring you all the updates in business shortly. Time now for business. Partner at accounting firm Deloitte Ghana, Yao Latte, has called for a structural change in the economy if the country is to become financially independent and avoid pressures on the local currency. According to him, the nation can only grow to become like the Asian tigers by being in command of the economy. Speaking on weekly online program Joy Business Social, Mr. Latte warned if the country does not expand its manufacturing base to process its natural resources, the economy will always come under pressure.
We've seen our economy rising debt level over the period that we are talking about. Our debt levels very low in 1957. Today, our debt is $60 billion and over, and still rising. Yet, we have not seen that impact on growing the economic base of the economy. So, if we don't change the structure of the economy, where in the first place, we are exporting raw materials and we are having other countries add value to our cocoa, add value to our gold, add value to our timber, and add value to all the raw materials that we are exporting, and then bringing them back to us and selling them at a price that is higher than what we are exporting, then we are going to have our foreign reserve being depleted. And we are going to have issues with our depreciating local currency. So our economy structurally, we have not managed it. We have not changed it from the colonial economy, and we are still running a colonial economy. If we continue to do this, then what we are talking about today as Ghana Beyond Aid will be a mirage. If you want to see it happen, one, we have to change the structure of the economy. Two, we have to change our education that is focused on getting people to do white-collar jobs, which is still a colonial mindset, and focus on technical, vocational, and science education. Because all the economies that we are talking about, Singapore, Malaysia, and all the other tiger economies, they focus on science, technical, and vocational education of their people. And the science, technical, and vocational education, that's what is leading them, because they don't have the resources that we have. They don't have the land and the mineral resources that they have. They have used technical, science, and vocational education to transform the economy. So if you want to talk about Ghana Beyond Aid today, we have to focus on changing the structure of the economy and changing our educational setup.
Government has been urged to increase taxes on imported rice to boost local production and reduce the pressure on the cedi. According to agri-consultant Dana Quay, taxing imported rice could generate about $10 to $15 million annually, which could be invested in local rice production.
There are a lot of heavy lifting in the rice sector. If you look at the sector as we speak today, most of the available places that have been developed are already being cultivated, and we need to develop new areas. Development of land is not easy for a private sector. To prepare land for rice production is not difficult, but to develop a new place for rice production is very difficult. And that might call for over $500 million to develop the bottom valleys for more rice to be produced. And we cannot put everything on the private sector, neither can we put everything on the private sector. So we need the PPP approach. Therefore, if we are even getting $8–10 million a year from importation of rice, we can use that money to gradually develop the new rice area in Bono, Ashanti, Western region, Eastern region, and Northern Ghana. we can develop the rice sectors there. At the same time, if you look at the rice value chain, there are other areas of investment gap, which requires about $100 million revolving fund. Once we put import tax on rice, we can use that money to set up a revolving fund and create that fund for private sector to use.
That is it for business. We'll take a break. When we return, we have the latest in sports.
Time now for sports. Enjoy news today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. All is set for tonight's President Cup between Accra House of Oak and Asante Ikotoko. It is a prelude to the action that will be happening this weekend in the Ghana Premier League across all centres. Yesterday, the Ghana League Clubs Association paid a courtesy call on the President Nana Akufo-Addo, and he has suggested to GALCA and the Ghana Football Association to ensure that the domestic competitions are vibrant.
For the invitation to be present at tomorrow's match, I accept it gladly. I spent a lot of time when I was very young following Asante Kotoko, and whenever they came down from Kumasi to play Hearts of Oak, in those days it was at Owusu Memorial Park. That's how old I am. It was before the stadium. It was a great day in the life of all of us young people in Accra, and I'm happy that this tradition is being kept alive and revived. I think it's to the credit of GALCA that you are determined to maintain this tradition of the President's Cup to coincide with the national anniversaries. It's an excellent tradition, and let's long may it continue. I want just to re-echo the point that the chairperson made, the need for us to have a strong, vibrant league. It is a strong, vibrant league that will enable us to have a strong, vibrant national side. So I think all of us have to put our heads together to see the way forward as to how we can strengthen our domestic league. We'll be crying and complaining about no longer being a powerhouse in African football and not winning the cup and everything. I think it's a question of organization. And organization begins with organizing a really strong domestic league. The people in this room, plus the government side, we have to put our heads together to chart a good path for the future for the domestic league in Ghana. But that is for tomorrow. But for today, it's about tomorrow's events at the stadium. I'm looking forward very much to going there. I will endeavor to appear in neutral attire. So I'll come in a white shirt. I'll not come in red, which is where my heart is. Unfortunately, I'll come in a white shirt and play my little role in it. I'm looking forward to it very much. And I want to thank you very much for the courtesy of this visit and for the honor that you choose to do me and whoever is the sitting president at any one time. It's a great tradition that you began with my boss, John Ejekum Kufuor.
Nana Akufo-Addo will be joining over 30,000 others expected at the stands of the Accra Sports Stadium to witness the game. Well, earlier this week, there was a directive from the Ministry of Youth and Sports to the National Sports Authority and the Ghana Football Association to ensure that spectators who have access to league centres are fully vaccinated. However, Chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Kuja Fiano, is unsure that the directive will be practicable.
We had our last meeting yesterday where the head of the Dr. Lord Comey, representing the office of the president, GALCA as the organizers, Ghana Football Association, the two clubs, the National Sports Authority and the ministry. And the green light had been given we should have full capacity. And I've seen the release. As to whether it's going to be practicable, that will only show on the ground. But that notwithstanding, I want to say that you and I wouldn't want any Ghanaian to lose his or her life. If that directive will ensure the safety of Ghanaians, why not? Yes, we have to play the president's card. We want to honor the president. We want to raise funds. But if you're doing that, it will cost us even a single life. I think it will be better. As for the game, it could be postponed. It could be rescheduled. It could be, something could be done about it. But human life, we cannot control that. So we'll try and make the best out of the situation.
The Black Maidens will be in action later tonight as they seek to qualify the FIFA Under-17 World Cup to be staged in India. And Nigeria have also released their squad for the World Cup qualifier playoff against the Black Stars. We've got details of this on myjoyonline.com. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Up next is World News.
Aisha, Kwitem. Kurgara. I mean, so that's actually Navrongo, their language. Okay. It's Kasim. And they are also from the Upper East region, but I'm not from the Upper East region.
We have somebody on standby to talk about the local
because
dialect.
Definitely we're seeing that the younger ones are, we're losing our mother tongue and our local dialect. So the question we're asking is the local language extinguishing? If so, how can we preserve them? And joining me for that conversation is linguist and orator Fapempong Echampong, based, and he's joined us shortly for this conversation. So, based on your assessment, would you say lesser-known dialects are extinguishing?
It's an undeniable fact. And, to cut a long story short, my answer is yes. If we are a country which, prides itself in the celebration of our independence and all that. So if in the long run, we end up using an official language that is inherited from the British colonial administration, used for all legal, administrative, and official procedures and documents, and also the language used in politics and education and the media in general. Clearly, the question is, where is our own language? As far as our official dialects, which, we have 49 main languages. So if you're unable to use any of them, but rather end up using English, then it calls for a concern. And as an MC who moves from one place to the other on almost every weekend, I can tell you that parents, most of our parents are passing on the English language as the foremost medium of communication at home.
Rather than their own mother tongue to the kids. I'm grateful for your time. I think we should do more of that, Becky. If you have your baby, make sure.
So which language?
F1.
Let me
Dada F1.
Oh, you don't have to speak.
But if you want to come to my home, you say, Tamabeula. Tamabeula means how are you?
Tamabeula, everybody.
Thanks so much for watching. Join us today. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our programs.